There was somebody who knew the relationship between the male lead and his mentor, and this was the mentor's wife. She figured it out on her own. He never told her. She thanks the male lead for the relationship he had with his teacher and for saving his teacher. They have 2 children, and one was a boy who had died very young. And the teacher never gave this boy affection or attention, always chose his career over their child. And the day their child died, he chose his career, even told their child to leave him alone, and their child died. And that was the last time he could have a conversation with their child. And so he would lock himself away. But meeting the male lead, he opened up again. He would visit the male lead and give the male lead the affection and attention he should have gave his own child. He wanted his child to have, the male lead to have a life that his own child didn't have. He wanted to give that affection and attention to the male lead. And she thanked the male lead for saving her husband. Now, this is the only time the male lead is ever able to have a conversation with her, because she sooner or later dies from being repeatedly harassed by public. So this is before it was revealed his colleague was, his mentor was practically innocent, and the patient's son was the horrible one. It was before that point. So the public was hating upon him and his wife and was treating them the same way they treated the male lead and the male lead's sister. Horrible and vile, and this so much harassment led to the poor woman's death. It was sad. So the male lead has no one in his corner, no one to back him up, which is super sad. All these things happening at once is the reason why the male lead quit being the main character's teacher, because he couldn't handle it. His disease could not handle everything that was going on around him. He was not sustaining it very well. He had to quit to protect his own mental state and protect the main character's mental state. It was not good for anybody for him to be around the main character at this time. So that's the true reason why he quit. Obviously, the main character doesn't take knowing that the male lead was exactly like him and refused to tell him until they were about to die very well. He is very upset. Super upset with the male lead. But he decides to save the male lead's life. There was a little ledge that could have sustained somebody and kept someone alive. And when he put the male lead on it, he was going to let die. It was going to be exactly the same as Jack and Rose from the Titanic. And the male lead, when he notices the main character is unconscious in the water, switches places with the main character and is like, yeah, no, you're the one who's going to survive and I'm going to die. But they're saved by the main character's mother, who was looking around trying to find the main character and found her son almost dead. The main character tells the male lead he's going to treat the male lead way better than he used to, and he won't do the forceful things that he used to do with the male lead anymore, because now he sees the male lead just like him. Because again, he outright states before in book 1 that he sees anyone with a mental disease or a mental illness better than average people. He treats them better. He treats them as equals because they're like him, and he wants them to have better lives. He wants to treat them better than they are treated by society. And so since the male lead is exactly like him, he's like, I'm going to treat the male lead better. So he tells the male lead that he won't do those horrible things to the male lead anymore, and he won't go up against the male lead anymore while they're at the hospital. I am not kidding. Right there, tries to have, again, more of a conversation with the main male lead, but the male lead is refusing to, because the male lead went back to the way he was before telling the main character his deep-rooted secret. And the main character is not having it, but the male lead is still being like, yeah, we're not having a conversation, we're letting this go. And this really upsets the main character, but the main character's like, I got to treat him better. I got to treat him like an equal. But he's sitting there really, really wanting to have a conversation with the male lead. Even though he promises that he won't do anything to the male lead, he just tries doing something at the hospital, which gets, caught by his brother. Now, he doesn't figure out who the main character was doing things with, but his brother thought this was an opportunity to ruin his brother. Because again, this dude is very much like a villain or a villainess in a soap drama, the one that wants to take the whole inheritance for themselves and ruin and destroy their other sibling. Yeah, he's exactly like those characters. And the main character's not having it. The main character goes up to his brother and says, oh, you tried to take this to our family, take this to our parents? Just watch it, because I will reveal to our parents to all the things you're doing. All the horrible, vile things you're doing behind their back. You want them to know what you're doing? All the naughty things you're doing? And he's like, yeah, nope, I'm backing out. Because he never saw his brother this way. He, again, doesn't know about his brother's disease. So he thinks his brother is a doormat, a quiet, submissive doormat that he can control and use the way he wants. So that's one reason why he went up to his brother to threaten his brother with what he caught. Except instead, he's the one who gets threatened, and he's terrified. He's absolutely terrified because, again, he never saw the sight of his brother, and now he's like, yep, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here for my own survival. The main character wants to spend New Year's Eve with Melly, but the Melly, again, is acting exactly like he did before he told his secret and truth to the main character. So he doesn't want anything to do with main character, and the main character keeps begging and whining for him to join New Year's Eve day. But he's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna spend New Year's Eve with my sister and the neighborhood. So the main character decides, yeah, no, I'm gonna make him agree. So he puts on a whole pitiful, sad, I got nowhere to go, I don't got any care or love or attention, I'm eating this sad bowl of food that is really cold and barely has any food in it. So the neighborhood, the Melid's neighbors, will make the Melid agree to allow the main character to join in their festival. I am not kidding, he does that, he full on does that. The main character had little dragon things made for the Melid and himself, matching ones, you can see them right here, but the Melid wouldn't take it, which makes the main character pouty. But after this instance, the book repeatedly compares the Melid as a dragon, talks about the Melid like he is a dragon the same way as the main character is. And I was confused by that because I thought the Melid was supposed to be a jellyfish. We see that in book 2 and the artwork, like how the main character is supposed to be a puppy dragon, but now it's comparing him to a dragon just like the main character. So is he a jellyfish or a dragon, or is he both? Like, can you guys answer that for me? Because I got questions. This is typically my biggest question. New Year's is ruined when the Melid's ex-wife shows up. She is there because her new husband, the one she had an affair with, cheated on her, got his affair partner pregnant, physically assaulted her for his affair partner, and so she has nowhere to go. Karma biting her in the butt, big time biting her back. She deserves what she got. Maybe not getting the whole smacking in the face, but she got what she deserved. She knew what was happening when she got with an affair partner, because, once a cheater, always a cheater, but she goes back to the Melid, hoping the Melid would give her a place to stay or get back with her, because, again, she realized how good he was to her all those years. Side-eyeing her. Full-on side-eyeing her. Really going back on the person that you repeatedly ruined and hurt. But yes, she goes back to him, and he's like, yeah, we can't get back together, but I will give you a place to stay, which is a hotel room, and he sends his sister with her. The main character and Melid, they end up arguing and fighting over the Melid's ex-wife, and the main character is being displeased over the fact that the Melid treats his ex-wife, who cheated on him, way better than how he treats the main character. And I'm like, honey, remember how you treated him and all the awful things you did to him? No surprise he treats his ex-wife better than how he treats you. Which also, I thought the main character knew from book 1, or found out in book 1, why the Melid and his ex-wife divorced. But I guess he actually found out now. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But yes, they're arguing over it, having a full-on spittle and fight, which leads to the bedroom. At first, it's kind of forceful on the main character's side, which I'm like, dude, didn't you promise not to lay hands on him? But no, they end up full-on wanting this. Both of them, like, the Melid actually wants this. And their fighting ends up mostly them trying to top each other, or typically the Melid being a power bottom and full-on riding him. But yes, I am not kidding. This is how the whole scene goes. And it goes from 189 to 231. That is how long it is. It's almost like 50 pages long, or is 50 pages long. I was sitting there shocked. Also, I was side-eyeing them. I was like, dude, seriously? And also the things the main character was saying, like full on wanting to get the Melid pregnant, doing everything in his power to get the main Melid pregnant. And I was like, dude, like I was giving him scandalous looks, and I'm like, have no shame? Do you have no shame? Like, I was like, oh my god.